What? All right, Steeler fans, second half of the Wednesday podcast means it's time for the mailbag segment. We are going to get all this stuff going. You got a lot of questions. We're going to answer them. Let's start off with Jeff Coons, our buddy from up north. Greetings from Not Matt, Canada. The Steelers are putting a lot of eggs in the Broderick Jones basket. He has switched positions, been injured, and through some of the footage shared, a bit of a screen door on a submarine through the early days of camp. My question is the DEFCON level of Jones plummeting? If so, what is plan B? If not, is this another case of Steeler Nation freaking out too early in the process? I said this in the first half, I'll reiterate it. We have seen Broderick Jones play left tackle in a real game once in his career against the Ravens rookie year, and he did a pretty good job there on the left side. And so I want to make sure that everyone understands, let's wait until we see what is happening. And when I say that, I was one of the people that shared a video of what looked like Broderick Jones completely whiffing and letting Alex Highsmith go right into the interior to his right because he's a left tackle. And I was like, what is going on? Couple very educated followers said, what is Spencer Anderson doing? And so when I watched the play again, the guy that was to Broderick Jones's right, Spencer Anderson, he completely blew his assignment. He didn't have to help Zach Frazier. He should have been helping Broderick Jones. And instead, Broderick Jones, who's expecting that help, allows Highsmith to go inside because he's expecting the help there and it's not there. These are the early stages of training camp, folks. Do not freak out about this stuff. If when the pads come on, Broderick Jones doesn't perform well, he looks lost, he doesn't know what he's doing, that's different. But until then, let's pump the brakes. Let's not pretend like this guy has a crap ton of experience in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers at left tackle. You want to hear more about that? Go back to the first half and listen to that again. All right, let's go to the Believers Ride or Die Crew poll of the week. What is your biggest concern after week one of training camp? Broderick Jones, wide receiver still, or safety? I'm going to go with Broderick Jones if I had to pick one of those three. But I'm not going to freak out about Broderick Jones until the pads come on. Let's go to Renan. He said, hey, Jeff, move Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt around will elevate their game or put them in positions they may not perform well. I understand help TJ, but this can reduce their impact also. What would be the best strategy then? More blitzes, make TJ play less but more quality snaps? What do you think? I said this in the offseason when people were still kind of mentally wrapping their brain around signing TJ Watt. This is before he signed the contract, though. And I said that if the Steelers were smart, if the coaching staff was smart, and they wanted to look at film of a pass rusher in the NFL who's doing a very good job right now for his team, and they want to emulate what they do in terms of moving that player around the defense, it would be Max Crosby out in Las Vegas. What Max Crosby does with the Las Vegas Raiders, he is all over the defensive front. He is sometimes in the middle. And I know that Myles Garrett does this too, but Myles Garrett and TJ Watt are not built the same. Myles Garrett is like chiseled from rock, and he's huge. Human beings are not supposed to look like that at that size. Not that TJ Watt is small, and not that TJ Watt is not equal to Myles Garrett, but TJ Watt is a different style of pass rusher. He and Max Crosby, in my opinion, are much closer to a better comparison. And Max Crosby is still effective wherever they put him on the defense. Watch that film is what I tell the Steelers, not that they listen to me, and then start to adapt some of those principles. I think this defense, and whether you throw in not just Alex Highsmith, but Nick Herbig, maybe even Jack Sawyer, could absolutely do some damage by learning from other teams. Let's not be so prideful that we can't say that we can learn a few things from other teams. I think that would be great. I think moving TJ around is going to help. It's not going to be predictable for the offense. It's going to make the offense have to adjust. So if they're planning on him being on the defense is left and the offense is right, and all of a sudden he's on the left side, they have to slide everything accordingly. It can lead to miscommunication. If he's in the middle, what do? Always make the offense account for TJ Watt. And that was not the case last year. He's always going to be there. We're just going to send a running back to chip, a tight end to help, and then we'll get the tackle. He'd have to go through 3 players just to get to the quarterback. Just my own 2 cents there. All right, Brandon Diaz asked several questions. Here we go. Most or more likely, the top 5 defense or a top 10 offense. I think it's more likely that the Steelers have a top 5 defense than they do a top 5 offense. Second question. If Joey Porter Jr. struggles in camp, should he lose his starting spot for Slay or Ramsey? I don't think a camp performance or even preseason is going to change their plans for Joey Porter Jr. And the one thing you should have learned from last year, listen to what Mike Tomlin said. Whether you watched Hard Knocks or not doesn't matter. He said this in the regular press conferences. They want Joey Porter to be physical. They want Joey Porter to be a quote-unquote goon. That is what they're coaching him to do. So he's doing his job based on what the job entitles him or entails him to do. So keep that in mind. I don't think he's losing his job at all. Next question from Brandon. What in the world is going on with Broderick Jones? Slow start. Man, it's too early. It's too early to freak out about this guy, guys. We have not even put the pads on yet. The Steelers have not had a padded practice. Let's calm down. And lastly, is Omar done making moves? Will he make another splash move? I don't think it'll be another splash move. Maybe he makes a trade, but I don't think it would be now anyways. And I've said this all along. I think that he's comfortable at wide receiver with what they have now. When you get towards the end of camp, the end of the preseason, when other teams are looking to maybe swap a player here or there, that's when you might make a move. Keep that in the back of your brain. Let's go to James. He said, Jeff, who would your ideal training camp roommate be among the current Steelers roster? Also, if you were to bring a favorite game, board game or video game to camp, what would it be? All right, first question first. And y'all are going to laugh, and that's okay. I knew exactly who I would pick to be my training camp roommate amongst the current Steelers roster, and he's a new player to the team, and that would be Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not going to get into details here, but let me just say that my wife calls me, I'm a hippie who likes sports. I am not someone that is your typical sports fan. Most of my time is not spent, watching TV or gaming or anything like that. I have a freaking garden and I love gardening. I love being outside and doing all these things outdoors. And yes, I listen to like hippie style music and everything. It's who I am. It's who I've become. I love it. Aaron Rodgers is a lot like me when it comes to this stuff. And it's probably one of the reasons why I've never been so hard on Aaron Rodgers, because he does like a darkness retreat. First and foremost, he's not hurting anyone else. Why does that matter? If he goes on an ayahuasca journey, again, it's not hurting anyone. It's a guided journey. It's a part of meditation and a hallucinogenic drug that it's, again, not hurting a soul. I would love to talk with him because I think there's value in some of that stuff, and I believe some of that stuff. So maybe you guys will look down on me. That's fine, but it would definitely be Aaron Rodgers. I would love to sit in a dorm room and pick his brain and just love to talk to him about a lot of stuff. So there you go. Also, the board game, I'm not taking the video game. I don't do video games anymore. I think that for me, I put that back before college. I stopped playing video games. Board game, though, that's tough. There's a lot of good ones. I'm not a chess guy. I am not a chess guy at all. When I talk about board games, it depends on what kind of board game you're talking about. There's some board games that are great. There's some board games that are not. I'll tell you a game that I like the most. It's a game called backgammon. Maybe I would think that a lot of people know what backgammon is. I was turned on to backgammon. I went to a camp in high school in Belmont Abbey and right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. And a couple of my other camp people we were counselors at the time. We played backgammon a ton. And so I love backgammon. I taught my wife how to play. We'll play backgammon a good bit. Go check it out. It's a dice game with little pieces. Good game. Let's go to Plain and Simple. Maddie, howdy from Atlanta, Jeff. Asked too late last week, so let's run it back. Rate your top 3 Steelers alternate uniforms of all time. Okay. Alternate uniforms. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. My third alternate, we'll go back to 1995 when they originally did the Pittsburgh crest. I like those uniforms. Let's do our second throwback. I actually got used to the Bumblebees. I hated the pants, but I was okay with the Bumblebees. Number 1 alternate uniform, and I'm not counting Color Rush, by the way. Color Rush would be at the top, but the alternate uniform, I'm thinking more throwback. I'm going to go the 2007 to 2011 gold helmets, black jersey that looks like the Color Rush with the white pants. We'll do that. Second question from Maddie. Who has the biggest impact on defense for the Steelers this year besides Watt that could be the difference maker between some wins and losses? I'm going to say it's a combination of Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey. What they bring to allow the Steelers to run more man concepts is going to be a difference maker when they go against teams like Cincinnati, when they're playing the Ravens, when they're playing any other number of offenses in the NFL that have multiple wide receiver threats that you need to try and lock down in a variety of ways. I think that's going to be where you're looking. Good questions. Thank you for asking. Let's go to Schnecky. I like Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson as much as the next guy, but wouldn't you feel a tad better scooping up someone like Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen, then let the chips fall where they may? I know Woods is there, but nah. Okay, Schnecky, it's a good point. I think that Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen are probably looking at things saying, why would I sign now? There's probably teams that have picked up the phone, but why would I sign now? I'm going to want the best opportunity for me as a player to play. And so, yeah, you could go and sign with the Steelers, and you'd have a good chance, but there's also a chance that they like what they have. Or you could wait. Someone's bound to get hurt. And so let's say it's a team that loses their top wide receiver threat, and we need someone to fill in. You're going to see a better chance of seeing significant snaps if you go to that team. So that's why I'm going to say they're probably just waiting. Would I be okay if Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen signed? Absolutely. But I have to think about why the player would want to sign, and I just can't figure that out at the time. Let's go to Nathan Van Slyke. Hey, Jeff, I'm on the Cole Holcomb watch. It seems like he's having a quiet camp. Go back to the first half of the podcast, Nate, and I talked about all those players that I think need to step up in the first padded practice and the first, several practices with pads on. What did they all have in common? Those are the positions where you need the pads on to be able to judge. Cole Holcomb is a linebacker. We're not going to know how healthy he is or not healthy he is until we see him having to cover a running back in the flat drill, or a tight end, or he's rushing the passer and backs on backers. Let's not judge Cole Holcomb or any inside linebackers too harshly just yet. Let's give them a chance. Let's go to Eric. He said, should we be worried about left tackle and Broderick Jones? Not yet. Not yet. People need, I get it. Some of those videos have been unbelievably damning of Broderick Jones. I understand it, but we also don't need to freak out yet. Let's calm down. All right, let's finish this up like we always do. Steeler fan 69. He always inserts some humor at the end of the podcast. Hello, friend. My doctor told me my prostate was good. I was deeply touched. Next one. Why couldn't the jalapeno practice archery? Because it didn't have an arrow. Next, where do pirates shop for new hooks? At a second-hand store. And lastly, we have 4 jokes this week. The CEO of Pepsi was fired this morning. He tested positive for Coke. Those are good. DEFCON level up to 4.5. Good job, Steeler fan 69. I do appreciate it. Thank you all, everyone that tuned in and chimed in to the mailbag segment and submitted some questions. We do that every single Tuesday. All you have to do is find me on Twitter at jhartman, HARTMAN_PIT. You asked the question, I answered live here on Wednesday. Make sure you check out all of our podcasts on the Steel Curtain Network, and steelcurtainnetwork.com is the website. Again, totally free. Don't forget, go to steelcurtainnetwork.com, go to the top of the page, click to create an account. Again, totally free. And then you can comment, be a part of the community. You can tell me, Jeff, you're an idiot when I write articles, and that's fine. I'm glad you're checking out the website. We thank everyone that's done it. If you haven't, give us a shot, steelcurtainnetwork.com. But that does it for me. I'll be back on Friday, the All Bets Are Off segment with Jeremy Jerome Betts. You know how we roll every Friday. In the meantime, you know we finish these up. Be safe, be kind, and God bless. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you on Friday, folks. Go Steelers.